Coach of the year, make him coach of the decade. There's Brian Daboll hobnobbing with the fans while he's got in his left hand a little victory cigar. Oh, yeah. Not coach of the year, coach of the decade. Brian Daboll. He was asked after the win yesterday over the Jaguars if he's happy with the fact that his team is 6-1. Here's what he had to say.
Sounds like even though you're 6-1, that maybe for the first time in a while, you're not really happy with a lot of things when you play today.
Well, I'm never really happy, ever. It's always on to the next week. I'm glad we won, but there's, like I say every week, there's certain things to clean up, and this week's no exception.
And that's always the case. Tom Brady said that earlier. You're trying to do certain things. The other team's trying to do other things. The question is, whose will wins? Who's able to do the things that they want to do? That's why it's never going to be perfect. Didn't we have that conversation at one point about like the perfect game? You're never going to have the perfect game when your opponent
we did have that conversation.
Is opposing you
last week or 2 weeks ago.
Opposing you at every turn. But Jason Garrett was talking about that last night. You shouldn't strive for perfection. You should strive for excellence, because perfection is never going to happen on a football field. It's never going to happen. You're never going to play a complete, total four-quarter game because the other team's trying to do the exact same thing. So Brian Daboll, just one game at a time, punching your ticket, getting a win, doing what you have to take, whatever it takes, whatever the circumstances of that game require, do what it takes. The only stat that ever matters is points scored versus points allowed when that clock strikes 0 each and every week. And they've been able to do it more often than not. Their only loss is to the Cowboys. It's impressive. Just like the other one-loss team in the NFC, the Vikings. Their only losses to the Eagles. Like, they're winning the games they're supposed to win. If you're able to win the games you're supposed to win, you lay the foundation for potentially great things, and you get your team to believe that teams that maybe they shouldn't beat, perhaps they can beat.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, that quote that we were playing from Brian Daboll reminds me of one of my favorite Don Draper quotes, where he says, "What is happiness but a moment before you need more happiness?" It's like, yeah, I'm not really happy. I mean, I'm glad that we won. Obviously, that's what they work for. And right now, when you're 6-1, and like you said, Mike, they're laying the foundation of what they want the Giants to be, of the kind of football that they want to play, defending every single blade of grass. That last play was real darn close, right? When you have a play that's that close and you've got to make that tackle at that yard line, it just tells you the kind of belief that everybody's got that, hey, when it comes down to it, we're going to make the play we need to make, and we're going to do it. And it doesn't matter, you can put whatever you want at us, you can throw whatever you want to throw at us. We're going to defend every single blade of grass until that clock strikes 0. And I thought it was a really, really darn good win. And, the Jaguars have disappointed me so far, especially after the way they looked early, coming out here and beating the brakes off the Chargers at SoFi. So, I mean, this is not necessarily the quality win that some of us may want it to be or whatever it is. But look, if you're the Giants, you got to play the teams on your schedule. You got to beat the teams on your schedule. And they've done that. They're 6-1. When you stack these kinds of wins early, it makes the end of the season that much easier for you.
And the Jaguars were 2-1, and they were up 14-0 over the Eagles in Philadelphia. And since that moment, it's all fallen apart. And
Come
here
on,
they are,
Jags.
2-5 with a typical Jaguars record. Just as we were coming to terms with the idea that they might be good, they went the other direction.
I said they were going to win the division. Now they made me look like an ass.
You're doing all right on your own. You don't need any help from the Jaguars. Don't blame them. Don't blame them. It is funny, though, how the preseason predictions, it's just, nobody knows. Nobody has any idea what's going to happen, and that's part of the fun. It's fun as a fan. It's horrible as somebody who does what we do, and we're expected to know. All I know is I don't know and nobody else knows. Sit back and watch the 272 regular season games and find out. One thing we're finding out, Daniel Jones finally getting it together. They're going to have some interesting times here in New York. Jones is becoming a free agent. Saquon Barkley's becoming a free agent. Both players kind of important at the success of the team this year. Here's Brian Daboll from after yesterday's win talking about the performance of Danny Dimes.
Played good. We everybody knows we have Saquon, so it's sledding, tough sledding early. I thought Kafka did a great job coming out throwing. Moved the ball down, scored on that first drive. Kept them honest. It's never going to be pretty. There's usually going to be stacked boxes, and it might be one or two. And as long as we keep doing it, but with the added element of, I'd say, Daniel today, which what do you have, over 100 yards, I think, and then threw for 200 or whatever. Yeah, I mean, played good again. Played, really the way we need him to play.
And playing his way into that second contract with the Giants or someone else. I remember when they did not pick up the option on Jones' rookie contract, extending it by a 5th year, and they would have been in line to pay him about $27 million for next year, fully guaranteed the moment they exercise it. They were betting against him. They were betting that he was not going to become the guy that he's become. And the attitude was, Joe Shane explained this to me on PFTPM, good problem to have if he ends up having a great year and we have to sign him to a new contract or franchise tag him. And I think that may be where it's headed. They may just have to franchise tag the guy if they can't get him signed to a long-term deal, because so far he's looking good now. Will he stay healthy? Who knows? Can he keep it up? Who knows? We're 7 games in. Whatever they're doing that's working, there's enough film out there now that defenses can figure it out. But he's a great dual threat, and you've got a coach who was closely involved with Josh Allen the past few years doing similar things with Daniel Jones. Throwing the ball, running the ball, 107 rushing yards yesterday. That was a career high. 202 passing yards. A double, triple, as MDS has coined it. Lamar Jackson far and away the all-time leader there, but chalk one up for Danny Dimes. He got his first one yesterday, and the Giants look good. You've put in 110 yards for Saquon Barkley as well, and they are well on their way. And my only hope, Myles, I said this last week, Sims and I were talking about it. You get these teams that start great, 6-1 Giants, 5-1 Vikings. And I really hope that they don't falter, because I don't want to have a situation where when we get into December and January, there are teams that struggled at the outset that are making their kick and getting better and playing better than the Giants, Vikings, and other teams that started strong but are falling apart. I want the hot teams that are playing well at the end of the season to be the ones that get into the playoffs. But as you fatten your record up, September and October, I mean, think about it. 6-1. There's 10 games left. If you go 500, you're 11-6. If you go 4-6, you're 10-7. If you go 3-7, you're still 9-8, and maybe the 7th seed. You can fall apart and still get in. You win 6 out of 7 games. So, and hey, maybe the fact that Brian Daboll isn't going to look at the record. He's going to have the victory cigar. I got no problem with that, but he's not going to get caught up in the record and, hey, we're in good position. No. You're only in good position when you know you're good enough to win when it's time to play Philadelphia in the postseason, time to play Dallas in the postseason, time to play whoever emerges in the NFC West, maybe the Seahawks, in the postseason. That's when you're going to find out, and that's what people are going to remember.
Yeah, for sure. But look, going 6-1 to start the season and to start your tenure as a head coach sure doesn't hurt, right? And I think, you talk about Daniel Jones. Look, I mean, he's playing with a lot of confidence, and I don't understand really why the Jaguars just didn't see him as a run threat. It's not like we haven't seen Daniel Jones run the ball before, and that wasn't brand new, and they acted like it was something that they'd just never seen. Oh my gosh, I've never seen him run on film. Like, yeah, you have. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be giving up double triples to Daniel Jones, probably. Come on, Jags, we can do a little bit better than that. And it's not that I shouldn't, take away anything from Daniel Jones. Obviously, he has to do a good job of actually executing the plays, but still. So he looks like he's playing with a lot of confidence to me. And I thought it was kind of funny that, the cameras caught him saying, catch the ball after a drop. And then he says after the game, like, oh, yeah, I kind of lost my cool there. I shouldn't do things like that. Like, no, man, stick with it. I love it. I love the fire. Let's go. You're the quarterback of that team. If Tom Brady can go do it, and Tom Brady's, leaving meetings and not there for the dog days of camp, then sure as hell you can do it, bro. Let's go. Show that fire. I like it, Daniel. Don't apologize.
That's how you win. You have a quarterback that holds players accountable the same way a coach does. We already talked about it. The quarterback has even greater credibility with the player. And that's how Peyton Manning became so damn great. He had all those guys scared to death of him. They were scared to piss off Peyton Manning. I better not drop this pass. I'm going to have to deal with Peyton. So you don't drop the pass. I mean, it's a fear-based motivation. And somebody who has spent his entire life, with fear-based motivation, it kind of works. It kind of gets you to mind your P's and Q's if you're more worried about what can happen badly instead of focused on the good things. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.